Tyler Perry is a menace. That paint scene traumatized me for life. What was that? Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Tyler Perry's new movie, Mea Culpa. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Before we really get into the movie, I want to talk about Tyler Perry, his movies, and like the controversy around them every time he releases one. I made a video talking about Tyler Perry movies, and I believe it was a Fall from Grace. That movie went viral for the horrible wigs, the terrible CGI, the dialogue that didn't make any sense, the fact that there were great actors in this movie, but they just seemed like they weren't given much to work with. And I feel like a lot of the same sentiments are being echoed with this movie. Because when you look at Tyler Perry movies and what he's best known for, especially with something like Mea Culpa, which is supposed to be like a psychological thriller. And when you think about Tyler Perry's best movies, Medea movies, Why Did I Get Married, A Family That Prayed, things like that, Tyler Perry definitely has a lane. But psychological thriller definitely is not it. With Tyler Perry movies, we tend to get the same plot over and over. A woman is done wrong by her dark-skinned husband, and a light-skinned man comes in, rescues her. They go to church, and it all works out at the end of the day. I don't know if y'all heard about how they're coming up with ways that AI can now begin writing scripts, which is very scary. Very alarming, okay? But it's almost as if you took some of that software and you typed in black movie stereotypes. It seems like that's what you get. Almost like a parody. He has to stretch everything out, and the pauses are so long. And then on top of that, everything is beyond predictable. Like, you see everything coming. In fact, a lot of times when the movie first comes on, you can kind of tell within the first 5 or 6 minutes how the movie is going to go. There's no real anticipation. And that's one of the things that also makes it a little exhausting when watching it. Because it's like, I already know what's about to happen. Just let it happen. Like, why are you taking so long? Like, we're trying to figure something out. We already know. Y'all, all of that is true. And I can agree with all of it. But at the same time, I don't understand why people constantly get upset with Tyler Perry movies when you already know this is what he gives. You know that. Like, he's been doing this for years at this point. He's developed a very loyal audience. He writes everything for a reason. I feel like he knows what his audience wants. He knows we're going to go out and watch it anyway. Even if we're going to bash it, we watching it. Mea Culpa was #1 on Netflix. As much as y'all are dragging it on Twitter, y'all still watched it. And y'all watched it from top to bottom, which means you had to be entertained in some sort of way. Yes, the script, the plot probably didn't add up. But I do think Tyler Perry does know how to entertain people, especially black people. And plus, there's something a little comforting about Tyler Perry movies, especially someone like me who's been watching his content ever since, I Can Do Better by Myself, the play, right? I've been watching since the beginning. They say people with anxiety love to watch the same TV show over and over and over because we know what the plot is, we know what's going to happen, and that creates a sense of safety. So I can understand, even with watching new Tyler Perry movies, it still feels that same way. So I feel like psychologically, deep down inside, that's a reason why I will always probably come back. It's like a nostalgic thing, even though it's a new movie, and a part of me really appreciates that. And so I can't come on here and just completely bashing it, because I actually had a good time watching it, regardless of how bad the film is. I was there and I loved every second of it. With that being said, I'm still gonna get my critiques, I'm still gonna talk about it, but we gonna recap this movie. So the film is starring Kelly Rowland as Mea Culpa. Mia Harper is a criminal defense attorney who must defend her new client, Zaire, a artist, but he is facing charges for allegedly taking somebody out of here. Y'all, I'm gonna be dancing around a lot of these words because I don't want this video to get demonetized, but y'all gonna know what I'm saying. It's funny because right before I started this video, I saw that Kelly Rowland didn't even want to do the film. And low-key, after watching some of the scenes, I totally understand why, but we'll get to that. I feel like Kelly did the best with what she had when it came to that script, okay? She worked the script for all it was worth. She's already a gorgeous woman. Oh, let me not forget the wigs. Kelly's hair was on point. That's another thing that people always point out about Tyler Perry movies. Kelly must have had it in her contract. I need a budget for my hair, okay? Because I've never seen Kelly with her hair out of place, and this movie was no different. Everybody's hair was pretty much on point except for the mother. I don't know why they threw that wig on the mama like that. It did not look right. It did not look natural or real. We're going to let that slide because I ain't like her character anyway, and reparations. Like I said, Kelly Rowland is beautiful. Trevante Rhodes is a very handsome man. So I enjoyed seeing them on screen together. I don't know if it was a script or whatever, but sometimes it fell flat between those two, except for one particular scene. But before, I'm like, are we supposed to be sensing tension between these two? I also love that they included Tyreek from Sister. I'm so sorry, I should know his real name, but I loved seeing him in this movie. I also love how Tyler Perry loves to recycle a lot of the same actors that he's had on his TV shows. But yes, let's go ahead and get started with the recap. So we first meet Mea Culpa and her husband, and they are in couples counseling, and this is where we find out that he's a whole mama's boy. He does everything for his mama. He'll drop everything to call her, and supposedly his mother has cancer, so she really kind of doesn't have a leg to stand on with him right now, as far as telling him to pull back. On top of that, he's unemployed, and she's pulling most of the weight financially. Later on, we found out that he was an anesthesiologist, but he lost his job because he was getting high on his own supply. And now he's in rehab, once again, on her dime. And it's really trifling because he hasn't even told his family what happened, supposedly, allegedly. And they keep throwing in her face that all the things he's done for her when she's actually footing the bill for everything. And, you know, she's just not very happy. That's the reason why they're in couples counseling in the first place. They ended up having to leave. We see the mother at dinner, and we see the hold that she has on her husband. His mother is very disrespectful and comes off like she's in competition with Mea for whatever reason. Just very overtly disrespectful. Mea didn't show up on time for her birthday party. She was like, well, maybe your next wife will be on time. Even at the birthday dinner, didn't even sit him next to his wife. No, she brought some floozy to come, I guess, be his next wife, and told him, yeah, you used to like her, didn't you? Like, and just kind of throwing it in the wife's face. I don't understand why Mea didn't just haul off and knock her out, slap her, drop kick her, just completely lose it on the mama. The mama is just completely disrespectful for absolutely no reason. It just doesn't even make sense. And the husband just sit there and let his mama do it. So then we see the husband has a brother, and he is prosecuting on the case against Zaire, aka Trevante Rhodes. He's also running for mayor. So we see that he has a vested interest in prosecuting this guy so he can put that on his resume in order to help him get into office. Stick a pin in that. We're going to come back to it. Mea is then presented with the opportunity to represent Zaire. Everybody in the family is trying to pressure her not to do it, including the brother-in-law, the mother-in-law, her husband. He think he gonna come in and put his foot down. She was like, well, first of all, which one of these bills you want to pay? Okay, you might have had a little say if you was putting in on the rent, buddy, but these bills got to get paid somehow. Because she feels so outcasted by them and they feel like they can just tell her what to do, she accepted the case out of spite. Even though it would be brother-in-law versus sister-in-law in court, you would think that would be a conflict of interest, but the judge see that they're butting heads and he allowed them to do it anyway. Now, would that work in real life? Because I feel like in real life that would not fly. So then she goes to Zaire's place because he's basically been trapped there. Anytime he tries to leave, he's chased by paparazzi. Most people think he did it. He's been pretty much outcasted. She starts questioning him on his girlfriend, where they met. He said that was his Mexican goddess. That was so cringy. I guess they met on vacation and they were only together 6 months. And then she all of a sudden disappeared. That was his story. But she was like, well, how did her skull fragments and blood, so much blood that it dipped down into the apartment below you, how did that get there? On top of that, she made a video saying that if anything ever happened to her, then Zaire was the one that did it. And she also had a $3 million life insurance policy. And he was just like, I know what it looks like, but she just disappeared. I don't know what happened. She's very skeptical and questioning his story. So she gets her private investigator, Tyreek. I'm just going to call him Tyreek, y'all. It's just easier. Tyreek must be on retainer because she already has him following her husband. And that's how she found out about the drug use. He's been following him. He's been going to and from rehab for the most part, so he really doesn't have much on her husband at this point, but stick a pin in that. She now wants him to look up Zaire, and this is where we find out Zaire is a whole womanizer out here. All he does is do freaky stuff to women, have women do freaky stuff to him. He has a lot of ex-girlfriends who have it out for him and willing to testify against him, talk bad on him. I don't know, I just feel like I wish they would have included some of the exes. Like, I feel like they kind of rushed through that part, but at the same time, when Tyreek was interrogating Zaire, I feel like that scene went on for too long. I wish they could have just did some flashback scenes or something like that. Tyreek felt like he was lying, but he really wasn't giving any indication that he was lying. So at this point, she still doesn't know for sure if he is innocent or guilty. So she keeps meeting up with him at his place, and it's getting a little bit too much for her because she's already having problems in her marriage, and he is completely exploiting that, and he's trying to seduce her. She's really making every attempt to remain faithful to her husband. So she told him, instead of meeting at your apartment, we're going to have to start meeting at the office because you don't know how to act, okay? I am a married woman, and you are not going to be trying to get all up in my head. So he does end up meeting her at the office. Her husband just so happened to be there at the same time. And he walks up and touches the lower part of her back, the little small in her back. The husband didn't get upset enough for me, because I would have been like, who you think you touching on? And why are you so okay with him touching there? Okay. But the husband, he marked his territory, left. Zaire was like, I'm not feeling meeting up here. This ain't the right vibe. Sir, you're on trial for murder. What you mean vibe? You need to be as buttoned up and as serious as you can get. For you get the chair, okay, or lethal injection. Which one did she say he was up for? And so he was like, well, you gonna have to come back to my place. And Mia, as a lawyer, how did you not, how you not put your foot down, not negotiate, unless that's where you wanted to go? Because it seemed like it was too easy for him to trick her into coming back to his place. Once again, he's trying to come on to her, and she's just like, look, I'm not going to be able to keep representing you if you're going to keep crossing the line like that. I'm married, yada, yada. So at some point, a naked woman just randomly walks, oh yeah, this is my neighbor, just randomly walks in, and they literally start going to town right in front of Mia. Mia was like, okay. She was already headed out, but she was like, okay, I'm gone. So she's trying to leave. He somehow is controlling whether or not the elevator is gonna let her go, and literally forcing her watch him in the act with this other woman. And then after she had to sit there for a while, he let the elevator go. Right as this disgusting sleazeball psycho lets her leave, she gets in a car, and Tyreek calls her and lets her know, I did catch your husband at the hotel with somebody. Okay, I didn't see who it was. I didn't catch him in the act or nothing, but he did get a hotel room. And so obviously she felt some type of way. I don't know why that would make her want to run back upstairs, and he's in there with another woman. Mind you, these things were very graphic. And I'm one of those people, I'm just like, I don't tune into Tyler Perry for this, one. Two, I don't tune in to movies for this. Like, if I want to watch stuff like that, there are videos and websites for that. I was a little bit uncomfortable with it because it was also very dark at the same time. It was just like really skeeving me out. But anyway, she walks in on the girl. He dismisses the girl. And girl, what? That was, I'm at a loss for words. Because why you want to go right behind this woman? I guess she didn't want to just immediately jump right into it. So to make her more comfortable, they went on a ride on his motorcycle. Y'all, none of that made sense. None of that added up. I guess the motorcycle ride did the trick. And so they came back and literally covered each other's body in paint. Knocked boots. Did the nasty. That cannot be sanitary. Y'all, I wouldn't even gave him the satisfaction of walking up those stairs. And for her to go all the way like that, literally, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even see the connection between the two, the chemistry between the two until that scene. And that's the only time I really believed it. Mia was looking for an excuse, child. She was just tired of this man being at home all day playing video games, because it just didn't take much at all. And the craziest part is you still don't even know whether this man did it or not. This is your client. I know women have made crazier decisions than that, but it just, I don't know, the build-up just didn't add up for me. Mia spends the night over there. The next thing you know, we see her husband and sister-in-law frantically at her office looking for her. Where you been? I haven't seen you. Da da da. You didn't answer your phone. All this other stuff. And she's sitting up there looking guilty, because it turns out the reason why he was at the hotel was because his mother, she's sick. She's staying at a hotel because it's closer to the hospital. So obviously Mia is completely freaked out because she just cheated on her. She thought she would cheat back, but no, you cheated first. Mia thought she was getting some get back, but nah, you just trifling all on your own. She wants to quit the case, but Tyreek ends up talking sense into her. Even though Tyreek, you were trying to be her friend, but you should have told her the truth. Like, that was completely crazy for you to do something like that. So she decided to stay on the case, and so she ends up meeting with this gallery owner, which is the mother, what's her name? Veronica Victoria from The Have and the Have-Nots. I loved that character. I loved how evil she was on it. I love how quick-witted she was, and that's literally the same sort of feel this gallery owner was, just like real nasty. Like, people were outside protesting her gallery because she had some Zaire paintings, and she was like going off on them like, I don't care. And so she brings in Mea Culpa. When I tell you, he pulled the exact same moves that he put on Mia with that gallery owner, from the painting of the waves to doing her portrait and plastering it on the ceiling, which is crazy enough. That would have freaked me out more than anything. Why do you have a whole portrait of me on your ceiling? That's weird. These women had the nerve to be flattered by it. Obviously, Mia was shook. The gallery owner knew she was onto something. That's why she kept twisting the life further and further. Mia was so shook. She ran. She ran. She was breathing around the corner. She was like, no, this man did not play me. So she ran straight to his house, peeled back, like 15 different pictures of women that he had slept with and put their portrait on the ceiling. You are just one of many, honey. And honestly, you might need to go get checked. She keeps pulling off layers and layers until she gets to the picture of his ex-girlfriend, the one that's, and it had the words die B-word on it. He claims he only wrote that on there once she made that video about him, but the evidence was just too crazy, so she got on up out of there. He almost wasn't trying to let her leave. I was a little nervous on that part. If this was like a real thriller movie, he wasn't gonna let her up out of there that easily. So I was just glad she got out of there with her life. At a family meeting, they end up confronting her about her cheating on her husband. They make her confess to him, not before she made him confess to losing his job. So I'm like, anyway, we'll get to my questions at the end, because I'm just like, me knowing the end, I'm like, Obviously, after she admits that she cheated on him, they all completely turned their back on her and shunned her from the family. She didn't just confess to cheating, she dropped the case, and child, she needed to go to vacation and let her hair down. She had enough stress after all of that. So she takes a vacation to the Dominican Republic. This is where the Tyler Perry-ness of it all comes in. Guess who she run into? Heidi, the Mexican goddess. She just so happens to be working there. So she literally chases her down and attempted to take a picture of her, but Heidi was, you gotta be quicker than that, snatched that phone and cracked it. And so Mea tried to go to the authorities. The authorities weren't trying to hear it. So she ended up, where'd she get another phone from? I don't know. But she ended up getting another phone, calling the brother-in-law prosecutor and letting him know, look, that girl's still alive. I'm gonna get my PI on it. He's like, no. I'll get my people on it. Don't worry about that. We'll handle this. Because if she is so intelligent as a lawyer, you think she would be able to put two and two together that he has something to do with this, especially since he wanted so hard to prosecute Zaire. And she's really done for going to their house. Because not only did they not like you to begin with, but you just admitted to cheating. Why do you think they would want anything to do with you after that? Regardless of this whole case. She ends up showing up and she could tell something is wrong. He offers her a glass of wine that clearly has something in it. Okay. The way everybody was like, oh, you haven't touched your drink. You sure you don't want something to drink? Go ahead and drink up. They keep trying to get her to drink. The mother very noticeably broke her phone, but by accident. Oh, let me stomp on your phone as soon as it drops. Oh, is it broken? Obviously, all of this is set up. And the next thing you know, she gets a call from Tyreek and he lets her know, look, my bad for the bad information before, but this one is real. Your mother-in-law do not have cancer, okay? I don't know what's going on, but she lying. And so this is where things get really dramatic. If everything didn't make sense before, this is where everything really gets out of the realm of possibility. Like, we're in Tyler Perry land right now, okay? Because it gets wild, but I ain't gonna lie, I was into it. I was eating up every moment. Once she confronted them, the brother-in-law, they just completely dropped the mask. They were just like, whew, I'm tired of lying anyway. They admitted to inventing this whole ruse that the mother had cancer for sympathy votes. And then the brother-in-law let her know that his wife and Mea have everything in common because she also cheated on him with Zaire. Zaire got pulled like that. I mean, he's sleeping with everybody's wife. He got so in his feelings that he wanted to frame the guy for his girlfriend. Obviously as revenge, but also in order to make him look like he's tough on crime and, you know, shoo-in to be mayor. And that's when it started to go down. The fight scene to me was the best part of this movie. I really enjoyed it. It might not have even been a good fight scene. It might have looked fake or whatever, but I enjoyed it because, first of all, the mother, it was about time somebody rocked her world. Now, everybody was coming for Mea except for the brother-in-law's wife. She had her back because I guess she's tired of living a charade, child. She tired of being with this man. That husband is psychotic because he gave her a knife and he was like, take her out. Like he wanted her to stab her. She was like, no, I can't do it. So she take the knife and backhands it, tries to get him. And so she's like clearly on Mea's side and she's trying to help her get away. Meanwhile, Mea and the mama, they into it. Low-key, the mama was getting a little bit of the best of me. I was a little disappointed, but she did end up getting away. And so she trying to stop the car that's coming. It just so happened to be her husband. What a coinkydink. And so he picks her up and mind you, she's still trusting him because they told her that he wasn't in on all of the mess that they were doing. But she quickly found out that was a lie because he was supposed to be calling the police, but really he called his brother. And she was very sneaky and turned the Bluetooth on so she could hear what was going on. And the brother was like, she knows everything. I don't know if he's in on everything. Was losing his job a part of the whole ruse? because he was giving loser with that little rant he went on, like, yeah, my brother told me I should have beat you up to keep you in line. I don't know, he was giving very much High Value Man podcast with all of his rhetoric that he was spewing at Mea. Mind you, they are in the car driving, so Mea really can't get away because she's in a moving vehicle. She's desperate to get away from him at this point, so when she sees a 16-wheeler coming her way, she decides to unbuckle his seatbelt and swerve the car in front of him. I don't know why that part really made me mad, because I'm like, why you gonna risk the life of the person coming down? He didn't deserve that. He just trying to get from point A to point B and do his job, and you gonna swerve the car into him on purpose? You could have easily swerved off the side of the road, but you gonna swerve it into him? I was like, man, you didn't have to possibly hurt somebody else in order to get away. But anyway, I guess she was desperate. And this is a Tyler Perry movie, so he obviously went flying straight through the dashboard, and we see him on the ground bleeding. So I'm assuming that he is no longer on this earth. So then we find out Zaire has been acquitted of all the charges because someone sent in an anonymous email. I guess that had some damning evidence in it, because that completely shut down the whole trial. Did they ever mention whether the brother-in-law got arrested and went to jail? Because clearly he set all of this up from the beginning. He falsified evidence. Like, where did the skull fragments come from? Where did her blood come from? We didn't even get to see what the outcome of what he did was, if I'm not mistaken. Then we see Zaire, he on the news, and he was like, shout out to Mea, because without her, I would be behind bars right now. And Mea somewhere in the crowd trying to be inconspicuous and all black with black shades on and a whole scarf on, trying to look all incognito, like every stereotype you could think of in this movie. Zaire had the nerve to text her and say he wanted to see her again, and she threw her whole phone away. And I am not mad. After everything that she went through in this movie, all the stupid decisions she made, that's the best decision she ever made, was to throw that phone away. And then that's pretty much the end of the movie. But we also didn't find out, did they ever catch Heidi? Did they find her? Did they figure out why she went along with this? Did she get paid? Y'all don't care about her whereabouts. The whole point was to find out what happened to her. And it seemed like all of y'all dropped that, because yeah, he made up a lot of it, but we still need to see what's going on with Heidi and why she did that. Like, people need to be held accountable. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about Mea Culpa down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.